Super Mario Maker 2 is packed with new features like multiplayer, a new game mode, new themes, and of course, slopes. But for everything it adds, a lot of the zany humour of the original was taken away, and in some instances, the sequel's flat out missing key elements that made the original such a charming time. In terms of content, it's still mostly a better experience, but there's a lot more that goes into a making game than just the moment-to-moment making. Number 10, less dynamic title screen. The original Mario Maker was weird, and that was clear from the moment you start the game. On every day of the week, something different would interfere with poor old builder Mario. Whether it be a Magic Koopa turning him into a Goomba, his own brother murdering him, or an invading fly stealing him away. So let's see what Mario Maker 2 has in store. Oh. Now to be fair, there are still a couple of variants you can get randomly, but they're all just as simple and pretty unexciting. Number 9, no skinny Mario. It clicked for me that the original game didn't have your typical tone when I saw this fella. Skinny Mario. Apparently he originated from a bug during development and the team just liked him enough to keep it in, but not enough to keep him in for the sequel. As it is, the original Super Mario Bros. Game mode feels more vanilla than ever. All the other game modes get fun and exciting power-ups, but the original Mario is stuck with a fire flower and a giant mushroom. In fact, there's quite a lot missing from this game mode that I'm sure we'll touch upon soon. The weird mushroom didn't necessarily change the way that Mario played, but it gave more personality to the most basic game mode. Though Skinny Mario does still show up when knocking on doors, but unfortunately the 3D world style just duplicates the Mario U versions. Number 8, no Amiibo Costumes. Alright, didn't take long to get back on the Mario 1 train. When we said the original game mode is more vanilla than ever, we certainly meant it. Mario Maker 1 featured over 150 costumes that turned Mario into just about anything. Donkey Kong, Link, Hello Kitty, Shaun the Sheep. It wasn't just about finding use for Amiibo. In fact, you didn't even need Amiibo. It gave real developers from all over the industry a chance to make their own Mario levels, and as a reward, we'd get costumes celebrating their creations. It's not just an aesthetic change. These costumes were the soul of so many levels in the original Mario Maker. You could make a level based on the Great Sea with Toon Link, or a sneaking level with Zero Suit Samus. It took the most basic game mode and made it into one of the most imaginative. People would make Mario 1 levels in favour of all the others just because it was easiest to pretend it was something else. It's tough to go from 153 to 1, especially when they were so prominent in Mario Maker 1. Hey, do you guys hear that? No, because it's not in the game. Number 7, no Fly Minigame. It's no secret that Mario Maker 1 took a lot of inspiration from Mario Paint. After all, it's where a lot of the UI comes from, like the Undo Dog and Reset Rocket. And another thing the original game had was the fly swatting minigame. In Mario Paint, this put the speed and accuracy of a mouse to full effect, and while it wasn't a main feature, it was certainly a fun distraction. Mario Maker brought it back to life, this time showing the speed of the touchscreen. With Mario Maker 2 on the other hand, fly swatting is out. We suppose this wouldn't exactly work with a controller, but a gyro setup would at least be a worthy substitute. It's just another example where Mario Maker 2 does away with elements that gave the original a personality. Number 6, lack of random death sounds. Now, seeming as we've only had the game for 2 weeks, we can't say with certainty whether this one is definitively missing, but neither I nor Andre have heard any random death sounds over the course of the game. In the original, you would occasionally get sequences like this.
Oh, Mama! Oh, Mario!
Yeah, it's still going. But unfortunately, they're seemingly absent in the sequel, making things just that bit more formulaic. It was the spontaneous moments that made Mario Maker more than just a level editor, and so far it seems Mario Maker 2 has forgotten that. Number 5, no Easter eggs on the title screen. Mario Maker loved to reference Mario Paint, and just like in that game, every letter on the title screen has some kind of cool effect, whether it be the A taking off like a rocket, or Wario invading the game. In Mario Maker 2 though, yep. This is one of the first things we tried when getting your hands on with the game, and the results are unfortunately a bummer. Number 4, no fun cursors. The original Mario Maker had a fully customizable hand cursor, and initially this seems to just change your skin tone, but then it turned into a cat paw, then a Mario glove, and even the familiar Mario Paint cursor. Here in Mario Maker 2 though, that final one is the only one. Perhaps these giant cursors would be a bit too obstructive with the new interface, but to at least have them as wacky options would have been a cool hidden detail. Instead we're left with just the most functional, and also the most vanilla option. Placing a Super Bell with a cat paw would have been so fitting, damn it! Number 3, no sample courses in Core Spot. When booting up either Mario Maker 1 or Mario Maker 2, you're greeted with a random sample course. Now in the original game, you could actually load these courses whenever you want via CourseBot and play them or edit them at your leisure. In the sequel though, these courses are only accessible randomly when booting up the game, so if you want a specific course, then keep loading. Now Mario Maker 2 does somewhat make up for it with its extensive story mode, but those levels are just for playing. If you want to mess around with Nintendo levels, then you gotta get lucky. Number 2. CRT seemingly MIA. Alright, so the one Amiibo costume that's still somewhat in the game is the 30th anniversary Giant Mario. Only when you scanned him into Mario Maker 1, you'd also get this cool CRT filter, but that wasn't the only way to get it. On the loading screen, if you held down while pressing B and A, you could get this filter in any level on any theme. Now while we can't outright say the filter is gone, we can't find a way to enable it, and it's very likely just gone. And number 1, no mustaches! That's right, the whole Giant Mario power-up comes without any of the visual perks. Not only would it give us a CRT filter, but it would give enemy sprites a Mario hat or a Mario mustache, even turning some sprites like cannonballs into spiraling Luigis. It's perhaps a bit too weird for Mario Maker 2's more grounded approach, and that's a shame because it made the original just so fun to play. So there's quite a bit of humour missing in Mario Maker 2. The game's still an improvement in many respects, but for some, it may be hard to outright call it the better game. Though of course we've only had it for 2 weeks, so for a lot more on Mario Maker 2, be sure to subscribe to GameXplain. Be sure to check out our preview and a bunch of other videos we have right now on the channel. Alright, until next time, bye.